Well, hello there. Pray all is well. I'm Gideon Winfrey, licensed therapist. Just want to take out a couple of minutes very quickly, probably about 4 minutes max, and just talk to you all about the importance of your diagnosis and why that's critical for any practitioner that's worth their salt. Now, actually, today is my admin day. Today, I'm actually working on a form for one of my patients to have some modifications made in their academic setting because of their mental health and behavioral health dynamics. And so I'm having to go through and present their diagnosis, but then also present this diagnostic criteria that they meet for that diagnosis. And it prompted me to want to reach out to you all, give you a couple of minutes of why it's important for not just your practitioner to understand the importance of diagnosis, but why it is your right to make sure that you understand your diagnosis. Now, in a society that we live in, a lot of times today, people utilize what I call pop culture mental health terms. And what I mean by that are terms that are mental health terms that you hear very casually in society. Terms like depressed, terms like anxiety, or even terms, the hot term right now is narcissism, a narcissist. And I sometimes kind of raise an eyebrow when I hear those terms, because knowing what those terms mean, knowing that narcissist and narcissism falls up under the personality disorder cluster, how serious that is, I understand that in our culture, when people introduce a new term, they talk about behaviors and they don't have the clinical training, it could be very misleading. So I wanted to make sure that we understood the importance of having the diagnostic criteria met when it comes to a diagnosis. Now, part of what meets that diagnostic criteria is this book right here. It's called the DSM-5. Now, some people call this the Bible of mental health, but because I have so much respect for God, I would never call anything the Bible of anything. But what I will call this is the Constitution and the preamble of all things behavior health, psychology, therapy, and mental health, okay? Quick history about the DSM-5. The DSM-5 started as a DSM-1 in the early 1970s. And basically, every 15 or 20 years, this is updated. So this is the fifth version. It's the fifth edition. And basically, as new diagnoses come out or new circumstances come out, it's absorbed into a manual so that we can treat those effectively as practitioners. As a matter of fact, right now, as we speak, the DSM-6 is being drafted in its early stages, and I'm pretty certain because of the pandemic, we're going to see some things in the DSM-6 that are not currently in the DSM-5. But in the DSM-5, there are certain diagnostic criteria that have to be met for a diagnosis to be given, and that's important. It's not just a matter of giving a person a diagnosis, but for me, education is also empowerment and a part of treatment. So it's important that people understand not just that they have this diagnosis and the practitioner is saying it to them, but it's important that they understand why they were given that diagnosis. So there's criteria that have to be met, and that comes through a series of interviews. It can come in testing, but any practitioner worth their salt is going to take time to really listen to you as a patient and to understand exactly what's going on, and then to give you a diagnosis that they can educate you on. Because the first thing is you're a human being. You are God's greatest creation, and you may have some dynamics that you're being presented with, but you're a human being who happens to have a diagnosis of depression. You're a human being who happens to have anxiety. So once you understand the diagnostic criteria or the behaviors that you present that makes that diagnosis what it is, now we can look specifically at what we need to counter in order to get you to where you want to go. Now, something else that's important to understand is there's also something that's called a differential diagnosis. And what a differential diagnosis is, when you can present to meet the criteria of one diagnosis, but you also have criteria that could meet another diagnosis. Case in point, sometimes people come to me and say that they're depressed. And after we look at the diagnostic criteria, they're not really depressed, but they may meet what's called an adjustment disorder with mixed anxiety and depressed mood. So sometimes people experience things and they end up being in a position of having to adjust, and they just may have some anxiety or depressed mood, but it's not depression. That's a differential diagnosis. So that's why that's important, for you to just have that understanding of what that looks like and what you should be getting from your practitioner. It's not just treatment that's based on talk therapies and modalities, but real education about what's going on in your life, so that you can know what the symptoms look like, so that you can be a major factor in terms of your own treatment and get it to higher ground, okay? So I just wanted to take out some time to share that with you. I'm very big on diagnosis, educate my patient population, and it's your right to have that as a patient. So I hope that your practitioner is giving you that, providing you that, because that is your right. And you should be getting that because you're worth that to us as practitioners. So I just want to take a few moments today just to reach out, have that quick dialogue. Thank you all for the support, for Valiant Therapy, for Sound Mind, for the manual, just for everything that you all are doing. And I truly appreciate it. So share the video. If you have any questions or anything, my contact information is available. Take care. God bless. Enjoy your holiday season and look forward to speaking to you soon. Take care. God bless. And may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he turn his love and smile and countenance towards you. May he give thee shalom and peace. I'm Gideon Winfrey, licensed therapist, and I will be touching base with you all soon. Take care. Bye. Be safe. Love y'all.